Hi guys, this is Ranjit and welcome to the fifth Tech Q&A session of 2023 and the first one for April 2023. And in this video, I'll be answering some of the questions that you guys have asked. And I've actually divided this into various segments so that it's easier for you to understand. In the first part, we'll take some smartphone related questions. In the second, we'll talk about some of the smartwatches, wearable gadgets, then some miscellaneous gadgets. Then we'll also talk about ACs and stuff. Got some questions about that. It's summer, so let's take that. And next, of course, we have some EV related questions and we'll also take that. And lastly, quite a few questions regarding solar, because I have put up a solar plant here in my new setup. So that's what will be the flow. I'll also have the timestamp. So let's start the same. Okay guys, so let's start it, and the first question is from Anuj. He is asking, do you think Google has started taking Indian smartphone market a little bit more seriously? He says, if so, will it affect the mid-range segment in India? Yes, Anuj, I definitely agree that from last year I'm noticing that Google has become a little bit aggressive in the Indian market. It started with the Pixel 6a. Initially, the pricing was absurd. It launched at 44,000, and I said in my review, the pricing was too high. Later on, they corrected the pricing after a month or two. And even if you look at the Pixel 7, for what it is, it's not overly priced like earlier Pixel smartphones. So looks like Google is taking the Indian market seriously now, and I have very high hopes for the next Pixel that will be launching in India. Just keeping my fingers crossed. Don't want to comment too much, but yeah, let's see. Okay, next question. This is from Tanmay. He's asking, if Pixel 7a, he says, comes in at around 35,000 with discounts and other offers, do you think it will have a big impact on various smartphone brands in India? How's your experience with the Airtel Extreme Fiber? What plan do you use? Okay, two-part question. Okay, first let's talk about the smartphone part. Yes, if the Pixel 7a comes at around 35,000 with the discount card offers or whatever, it will be a very good for Indian consumers, and it will be a big blow to a lot of other smartphone vendors who are pricing even their mid-range smartphones in that price range now. If you see that, they're calling it the premium mid-range. So I think so that will be very good for the Indian smartphone market. Let's see, Google can do that. They can launch the Pixel 7a, let's say at 40,000, but with various credit card offers and other combos or stuff, if it can come down the price to about 35,000, it can really shake the Indian smartphone market, in my true opinion. That's why I'm actually also eager. Many of you have asked me, which is one smartphone that I'm waiting. Pixel 7a is one that I'm waiting for the Indian market, and I want to see what will be the pricing. Anyways, moving to the second question. What's your experience with Airtel Extreme Fiber? What plan do you use? Yes, I have the Airtel Extreme Fiber in my other setup, not in this setup, and I used actually the 1 gigabit plan, and it's been working fine, I would say, for the most part. Not an issue. Sometimes the speeds drop to about 700 megabit, but yeah, again, it goes back to 850 or something like that. So pretty reliable. But one thing I've noticed is that you hardly need that much speeds, because what I have noticed is that if your speeds are just about max of about 300 megabit, you hardly notice those higher speeds. In fact, in this new setup, because I have not completely moved here, we just have a 100 megabit plan over here for internet with Act Fiber, and I'm happy with that. I'm uploading videos and stuff like that. So maybe when we completely move, I might just opt for a 300 megabit plan, not a gigabit plan over here. You strictly don't need the gigabit plan. Only place where I appreciate that gigabit plan is that when I'm reviewing gaming laptops, you have to download a lot of games, and at that time only I appreciate that very high speed. But regularly, I just don't use that much of high speed. Even when people are streaming in the house on 3 different TVs, 4K and stuff, you hardly need those speeds. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Dharia. He's asking, I am also a tech enthusiast, he says, and wanted to know about the experience of owning a Pixel phone. I'm confused about the Pixel 6a, or should I invest 25k more for Pixel 7 or wait for the Pixel 7a? Definitely, I would say don't go for the Pixel 6a as of now. If you really want to buy as of now, you can't wait, then Pixel 7 is a good option. But if you can wait, you can go with the Pixel 7a, because we know that the Pixel 7a's processor will be the same as the Pixel 7, and obviously, logically, it should be priced a lot less compared to the regular Pixel 7. Anyways, moving to the next one. Again, the smartphone related questions are finished. Moving to the next segment, I think so. Okay, this is regarding smartwatches and stuff. This is by Trenton. He says, Samsung watches doesn't support most of the features in India. Should we still consider them buying, as regulations will not allow them to add new features in India? Yes, Samsung watches like the Galaxy Watch 4 or the Galaxy Watch 5 have a lot of features like BP, heart rate, this and that. Heart rate is there, but even some advanced features are there. But sadly, due to Indian regulations, those are not enabled. And as Samsung officials, though the hardware is present on your watches for last couple of generations, even the Galaxy 4 watch had the hardware, even the Galaxy 5 watch has it, but it's not enabled in India. And they said that though the hardware is present, they have to adhere to the regulation of that region. And sadly, in India, as of now, those features are not to be enabled by the Indian government. That's why we see that. So we don't know if Indian government if they will give those permissions. Moving to the second question, this is an EV related questions, but I'll just take it. If we want to buy an EV car, shall we wait for another 1 or 2 years so that we have more options with better range and affordability? Definitely, the EV bandwagon has just started going in India, and it's going at a crazy trajectory. Let me give you an example in our building, not this one, the building where I was staying. When I got my Nexon EV Max, I think it's 4.5 months. That was the 4th EV in that building, and it's a big complex, about 1100 flats. Now we have 18 EVs in just a span of such. So you see the exponential growth that is happening. So yes, EV will grow, and we will see a lot more new EVs in the next 1 or 2 years. I would say if you're buying an EV, many people forget about biggest thing about the EV is the type of battery that is there in the EV. And for Indian conditions where our summer is very, very harsh, I would suggest that the battery chemistry should be LFP batteries, lithium phosphate batteries. These have actually higher thermal than the other batteries, and they are safer for Indian environment. Another thing that people forget is that in Indian conditions, the EVs generally what you buy, cars especially, should actually have liquid cooling also. So these are the two things that you have to look. Other things, yes, features and all those things you can look, but the battery chemistry, because as of now, still I would say 45 to 50% of the cost of an EV is the batteries, and the battery chemistry that they are using should be actually long lasting. And LFPs for hot conditions like India are the ideal. In fact, LFP batteries also have far more charge cycles, more than double compared to the conventional EV batteries that are used in other regions. Anyways, moving to the next question. Oops, where did it go? Okay, yeah, this is by Arun. He's asking, true smartwatches are not affordable. Yes, I completely agree. The true smartwatches are the Galaxy Watch and the Apple Watch and all these things, I would say. Fitness watches are enough for me, but I need your suggestion on which brand is good in terms of accuracy but within a budget. Okay, if you want just a fitness oriented watch, you can look at Amazfit. That is actually very good. The battery life is also very good in general. Amazfit, I was actually using it earlier. It gives about 10 odd days, and more or less it's pretty accurate, I would say. So that is one option that I would suggest, because they have a range of watches in that. If budget is not an issue, then you can also look at Garmin. This is a Garmin smartwatch that I'm using. And again, this is the very high-end FX2. It's very, very expensive, almost about a lakh. But you can get Garmin if the data accuracy and points are very, very important to you. You can get decent Garmin watches for about 25, and in sales or whatever they go down to about 20k. That's my frank opinion after using a bunch of watches. Okay, this is by Batman. He's asking, please do an in-depth review on Nothing earbuds 2. You must have tried it over. Yes, I have actually used the Nothing but earbuds 2 quite a bit, and definitely I would say it's a big improvement compared to the first generation in terms of not only sound quality but also in terms of ANC. And if I have to rate it, I would give it a rating of 8.25. That is actually pretty good, I would say. I would say I didn't test the Oppo Enco X2 because that's also in that similar price range. So I can't comment. But again, if I'm just looking at that, it did perform much better than my expectations. I will try to post a full review later on. Okay, this is by Keval, he says, been using Motorola Ready for with Edge 30 Pro. Replace my laptop and I'm using mostly Microsoft Office, etc. Do you think this is the future of smartphone processor are matching the... Definitely in terms of processing, I would say the modern smartphone processors have become very, very good. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 series is so blazingly fast processor. So processing power is not an issue. And yes, the Motorola Ready for features that we have can actually simulate a PC-like experience. In fact, you can wirelessly also cast to a TV with Miracast. Most modern TVs actually support that. And yes, Motorola has implemented it very well. Samsung has something called DeX in that. And yes, it can replace simple tasks, I would say. So people who are not very heavy users of computers might start using it a little bit more. Just imagine in the next 2-3 generation that app with the features will improve drastically. So yes, for light users it might do a job, but personally for me, I would say I want a smartphone. Of course it should be a foldable a normal smartphone like this, but I should be able to actually stretch it here and there, and it becomes, let's say, a 11-inch or a 12-inch tablet. If I stretch it, then that can actually replace my portable laptop, I would say. As of now, it's a pipe dream, but I think so with the innovations that are happening in the foldables and all, maybe in the next 3-4 years that might be a big possibility, I would say. A pretty interesting question. Right now the foldables, to me, I have the Fold 4. It's just too small, I would say. Yes, I can do a little bit more compared to a regular smartphone. For example, if I get complex Excel sheets and stuff, I like the Fold because it has a little bit more real estate. But again, pulling a phone, and if it becomes 11 or 12 inch screen, that will be a solid game changer in my frank opinion. Anyways, moving to the next one. Okay, this is regarding AC, so because it's summer, let me give you my thoughts, because I have purchased a lot of ACs with various brands all over the past couple of years. In fact, in this new setup, purchased different 4 new ACs also. Okay, this is by Rahul. I was watching videos on AC buying guide. Some of them suggested buying low maintenance AC without Wi-Fi or any fancy features, but I need a smart AC for my needs. So what do you think? Is it really expensive in maintenance to maintain a smart AC, or should I go with a normal one? Rahul, it's a there are some brands, for example, Daikin, etc., which charge significantly more premium for a smart AC. But there are, on the other hand, there are some brands, for example, recently we purchased 2 Panasonic ACs, which are smart ACs, and the pricing was almost very similar to a regular AC. So different from brands to brands, I would say. And in an AC, what do you want is very, very important. I would say currently the mix of ACs that we have is LG ACs, we have Daikin ACs, and we have Panasonic ACs. And I'll give you the gist of these ACs. How are they very, very different? Okay, first if we talk about LG ACs, I would say the LG ACs are the most silent one. When it's running, the fan noise is so low that you hardly hear it. But the con of the LG ACs, and I have 4 different LG ACs, and these are all our inverter ACs I'm talking, and these are 5-star ACs, the top end ones. The problem is that cooling capacity on the LG ACs, what I've noticed, is the least. In fact, I would say a Panasonic AC of 1 ton will perform similar to a 1.5 ton of a LG AC. In fact, in my old setup in a hall, we had a LG AC of 2 ton. After 6 months, some problem happened on that one. So actually we replaced it, and I had put a Panasonic 1.5 ton, again inverter AC 5-star. And in fact, it had the same cooling as the LG 2 ton AC. But the problem with the Panasonic was that, and currently also we purchased a new Panasonic AC, is that Panasonic AC's fan noise is a lot louder compared to LG ACs. But the good thing is that both the Panasonic ACs that I purchased were fully smart AC, that is Wi-Fi connected. I can just invoke Alexa right now, and the AC will get switched on. I can control the temperature by Alexa and stuff. So that way, I would say I'm getting a lot of advanced feature, and the cooling is also very, very good. But again, the fan noise is among the highest that I have seen on a Panasonic. Then we come to the Daikin ACs. I would say Daikin ACs are the most expensive. and in this room actually I have a Daikin AC, and Daikin ACs used to have a big edge earlier because they used to be one of the most silent one, but that's no longer the case. I would say in terms of silence, I would say the LG ACs are more silent to the Daikin ACs, and Daikin ACs are actually commanding quite a bit of premium. Again, if you go to the smart mode, smart Wi-Fi, they again have a little bit of premium. So again, that's the reason we have actually started avoiding Daikin ACs now. They used to be brilliant earlier, about 8-9 years ago. They used to be the most silent one, but that's not the case, because recently, again in this room also, we have put a 5-star Daikin AC, the most premium one that they have, and that also is not as silent as the LG AC. So that's my quick take about these 3 different brands of ACs and their typical nature that I have noticed. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by, okay, now we have this EV related question. This is by Anirudh Bhatt. He's asking, is it worth to buy an EV if I'm driving limit is less than 5,000 kilometers in a year? Will I be making any significant savings? Will we start seeing EVs at an affordable rate below 10 lakhs anytime soon? Okay, first talking about will we see EVs at affordable rate below 10 lakhs? We already have it. For example, Tata recently launched the Tiago EV, and if you get their base model, it is less than actually 10 lakhs. Okay, coming to, is it worth buying an EV if your driving is less? For example, let's say less than 5,000 kilometers a year. That means you're driving just about 400 odd kilometers in a month. And I would say if you are buying an EV and your run is so low, then you will not see a significant savings in your monthly, savings. I would say if you're really going for an EV and your main aim is for savings, calculate if your yearly run is at least 10,000 kilometers or more. Then you will start noticing significant savings, because let's say if it's a petrol car that you have and you're replacing it with the EV. Let's be realistic, and I'm talking about in city driving conditions. Most of the petrol cars, if you take also into account the servicing cost, which generally you have to do in 4,000 or 5,000 kilometers, the per kilometer running cost in city, if you're driving, because jams and stuff, they hardly give more than like 11 to 13 kilometers in city, because of stupid jams. So effectively, and if you add the servicing cost, so effectively even for a small petrol car, you are effectively at least paying about 10 rupees per kilometer. And EV, if you run, its running cost is just about 1 rupee. So maybe you are saving about 10 rupees per kilometer. And let's say if your monthly run is just about 400 kilometers, you will be just saving about 4,000 rupees. But if your monthly run is a lot higher, let's say closer to 1,000 rupees, then you will see a significant saving of about 10,000 rupees or something, because initially every EV will be a little bit more expensive compared to a regular petrol or ICE car. That's a fact. And I would say to recover that cost, you have to drive your car or etc. That EV for at least about 25,000 to 30,000 kilometers. And if your run is so less, it will take you so many years to get back that cost. So I feel at least about, if you're doing about 10,000 kilometers a year, then moving to EV, you will start noticing that savings. For example, on my Nexon EV, now it's been 4.5 months and I have already covered 6,000, it's over 6,000 kilometers. Anyways, moving to and this is a router related question. This is by DEFCON. FTTH providers like Airtel, that is Airtel Fiber, Extreme Fiber, and Jio Fiber force their users to use their ONT routers. Yes, that's correct. When I asked Airtel if they can bridge and use my own router, they denied. What is this practice so prevalent, and what can the consumers do about it? Okay, let me give you my experience. Okay, I had both Airtel Fiber as well as Jio Fiber, and I tried with Jio Fiber. I tried to reach their highest level authority also, and the Jio guys simply told me there is no option to bridge the connection on a Jio Fiber. They simply denied it. And trust me, I tried all my contacts to go to the highest level and they denied me. But with Airtel, I don't know if they have changed their policy right now. About 2 years ago, when I got my Airtel Fiber Extreme with that 1 gigabit connection, I also wanted to use my own router and bridge the connection. Initially, they denied it, but I escalated the call again and again and went to the top position. And they told me, yes, there is an option that we can bridge the connection. But again, there was a procedure about it. So I don't know if they have removed it as of now, but at least about 2 years ago, Airtel Fiber was allowing you to bridge your connection. Anyways, this is again a smartphone processor related question. This is by Ashish. Usually, Dimensity MediaTek processor terminology is confusing as we are used to Snapdragon processors. Is there a way we can compare the MediaTek processor to Snapdragon to find the equivalent? Ashish, a very interesting question. I would say it's actually pretty easy even for MediaTek Dimensity range of processors. For example, their mid-range and the entry-level processors are with 3 digits. For example, the MediaTek Dimensity 800, 820, 900, 920. All, if you know, are these 3-digit numbers. These are actually entry-level and mid-range processors from Dimensity. But if we are talking about the flagship processors from Dimensity, these actually have 4 digits. That's the 8000 series, 8200 series, the new 9000 series. So it's like that for MediaTek Dimensity. I hope that helps. Okay, lastly, this is again gadget Android TV question, but I just want to take. Hope your family are doing good. Does Android TV get crappy after long-term usage? What's your personal experience and opinion on that? Recently, I have asked Ash talking about the same issues in Android TVs. Please pick my question. Sarkar, a pretty interesting question. Yes, Android TV that you get with your television, again, note that after a couple of years, maybe after 3 or 4 years or something, it will stop getting updates, and the processor on the TV is also not the latest. So yes, it will slow down a little bit, or maybe a new app that comes might not be fully compatible with the audio codecs or something like that. That will happen with any Android TV. Let's say today you buy that TV, it's fresh, it has all the features, but after 5 years, it's going to be old. That's the reason with some of the older TVs. In fact, I have a Samsung television that is a 2013 television. That TV works very well, but I have replaced smart features with the Android Fire TV stick on that one. So eventually, after a couple of years, you will have to actually replace it, and it's a very easy replacement. Just use an Amazon Fire TV stick, the latest version, or a Mi TV box or something, and you'll have all the latest features of a smart TV. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, next, now quite a few questions regarding solar, because I have recently put a solar 5 kilowatt solar system. So let's go about it. This is Santosh. How many units of electricity do you get from solar panels per month? Okay, I've just recently put it. It's just been about 5 odd days, and this is on-grid system. And what I've noticed is that the least amount of this is a 5 kilowatt on-grid system. And the least that I've seen, that is today. In fact, because in Hyderabad it was pretty cloudy today, half of the day it was cloudy, it generated 26 units of electricity. And the best that I have seen about 2 days ago, perfect sunshine, no cloud cover or anything, it produced 31.3 units of electricity. So this is the range that I'm looking at, anywhere from, let's say, 25 units to about 31 units of production per day. Just multiply it by 30 to get an idea about the monthly figure. And guys, this is slightly higher than the normal generation, because generally what you have to look at is that 1 kilowatt of solar setup, ideally the basic should generate about 4 units of electricity, at least 4 units of electricity. If you're getting anything above that, that's a bonus, and that will also depend on the panels that you use. I've actually used slightly more expensive panels. I didn't go for the budget panels. That's why I think so I'm able to generate slightly more electricity. I hope that answers your question. Okay, this is by Ajit. Which solar plant is affordable and practical, on-grid or off-grid? If there is frequent power cuts. If there is very frequent power cuts, then you cannot use the on-grid system, because the on-grid system will shut itself off when the main power is not there. I'm using an on-grid system because in our area, we hardly have any power cuts. Maybe if it's there also, if it just goes for 10-15 minutes and comes back. So I'm using an on-grid system. But again, if you have very frequent power cuts in the morning, then you should not use on-grid system, and you have to use the off-grid. In terms of affordability, on-grid system will any day be a lot cheaper than the off-grid system, because in an on-grid system, you don't have to put in batteries, and batteries are super expensive. So of course the on-grid system will cost a lot less compared to off-grid system. Okay, moving for the next question. This is about Shankar. He is asking, please share about the solar setup cost at your home. Overall cost, where to get the products, and can this be implemented if you have a residential flat, especially in Mumbai and not a bungalow? Okay, the first thing is that if you are living in a flat, then it will be very difficult to set up a solar system, because you need to own the terrace, because they will actually put the solar panels, the structure actually inside the terrace. They will drill holes in that. So unless you own the terrace, you simply cannot do that. Also, just having a terrace is not okay. The terrace what you have, of course, should be open, and no shadow should also come on that terrace. So it is very impractical as of now if you are living in a flat. That's the reason when earlier I was in my flat, I didn't opt for the solar system. This is an independent house that I have. That's why I have put the solar system. Okay, coming to the cost for my setup. My setup is an on-grid system, and because this is a private society, I did not get any subsidies. You can get subsidies if you use the basic poly panels, but as there was no subsidy, I went for the higher end mono PERC panels. So the cost is slightly higher. For this 5 kilowatt system, I am paying about 3.5 lakhs. And again, the pricing will differ from vendor to vendor. I also got a quote of less than about 25,000 for the same setup from one vendor, but that vendor was new. So I went with a vendor that have been doing this stuff for about 8 odd years. So I went with that. So it will depend on that also. And of course, if you have subsidy, then the cost will also come down. So guys, I have got a lot more questions regarding solar also. So what I'll do is I'll try to actually put out dedicated videos on solar setup and stuff like that. Some things that I came to know only after putting up the solar plant. I did a lot of research, but then also there were some things that were not answered. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to post a couple of dedicated videos going on basics of solar, because there are a lot of misconceptions that people have. So again, stay tuned to that channel. And guys, that's it for now for this tech Q&A session. I hope you found it interesting and helpful. Anyways guys, if you're still not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.